Well, hello. We're here today. I'm going to show you how to build a proper woodworker's bench. Just because we are woodworkers, it doesn't have to be crude. We might have like a certain tools, and we might like a certain materials, but it doesn't have to be crude. We as the woodworkers have to be able to build a proper woodworker's bench. I have a top, it's laminated. We have a base, the proper base with substantial legs. This bench weighs approximately 400 pounds. As like you see, you can try to rock it and it's not bolted to the ground and it won't work. So let's try and build a proper woodworking bench and also have some crude with a piece of plywood on top. Shall we? Let's go.
Now you can see the two legs put together already with the side rails already installed and assembled. Now this is the mortise and tenon joint that will hold the front and back runners. Here's a close view of the mortise, and here is a tenon and mortise being assembled, the rear ones. It's already assembled, and we installed 2 wedges to tighten out the tenon inside the mortise. This is stud being implemented, installed. The base already put together, 2 runners in the back, 1 runner in the front. And we have various views of the mortise tenon joint that we just put together for the front and rear runners.
There was one part that I forgot to show you in the original video about how I made those mortises so square. Some of you might have imagined already or figured out how I did it, how I done it. I'm sorry, but normally I got 2 pieces of the pieces that I needed. In this case was 8 pieces of 2x4s, the right length and everything. And then I cut the mortise. I'm not going to do it because it makes too much noise and I don't have the right dowels plate anyways, but I cut it until it reached the one cut after the other till it reached the fence. And then what happened is I turn it around and glue the legs together. So that way I have my mortise. I glue it around, and I have my foreleg with a very square mortise on it. After that I machine it, and you couldn't see very little of the line. Here I have one already glued together. See, it's already glued together, machine. Of course you have to plane those 2x4s because the way they come from the mill, it don't match very well, but you have to mill it. But anyways, after you glue the 2x4s, what you have to do is enlarge the outside of the leg a little bit, about 4 degrees on top and bottom, because I have wedges in there. So let's go do that, and then we come back into the mortise and into the tenons, how I did the tenons. Oh, let's finish this mortise and the bench and a sharp chisel, and I'll show you how I enlarge the hole on the outside. Okay, now we are expanding the mortise on the outside of the leg. Be careful not to break out on the other side when you do this. You need about 4 degrees all the way up. I cut to the top, but in the bottom you have to turn it around, so make sure you don't break out when you're coming up on the other side. That's about right there. Let me turn it around, it'll be easier. You need a sharp chisel, otherwise what happens is that you crush the fibers and don't cut it. Okay, that's good. We're finished. Well, hello. We're back to cutting the tenon. I just cut the cheeks of the tenon, and you see this, it's going nice. Now we need to cut these other two and leave the shoulders on the one side. So what I'm going to do is mark it. Make sure that we're okay. Okay, I marked it. Now I adjust the height. I adjusted the height on the saw. I didn't put a dowels blade because I was going to show you just on one piece of wood, and I didn't want to got lazy to change. Sorry, I got lazy to change the blade just for one mortise. Let's do these on one side, and I'll do the other off camera. Set the fence so I won't go too far. I have to go just where I need to go. Okay, here's one side. Now I'm going to do the other off camera, and we'll get back together. Okay, as you can see now, we have the tenon already cut. The shoulders are straight, and but we have a nice tenon square here to match the hole. Obviously, I'm gonna have to shave a little bit more, it looks like. Okay. Yeah, just to shave a little bit more. Okay, as you can see now, it's going nice. And then now we have to drive it in and make a little hole to mark the pin that we're going to put in here. Stud when the hole is together. Then I'm going to show you how we're going to do two different things in the drill press. We are going to and cut the small hole, then move it out, take it out of the drill, disassemble the mortise again, tenon, and we're going to drill the definite hole in through the mortise leg, the leg, and then on the tenon we're going to mark that hole, and we're going to move it a quarter of an inch closer to the shoulder. That way, when we put it together and we put the pin through it, it'll tighten it up and it'll be under tension. And unless you cut it, it will never come apart. Now, let's go to the drill press and I'll show you how I do it. Okay, now we're going to drill a small little hole. It doesn't have to go all the way through, just to make a mark. to take these apart. Just a second. Okay. Now we have these both, the tenon and the mortise, or the leg. Normally we do that with a hand drill because it's too cumbersome to bring it to the drill press. So since it's a small leg, it's just for showing, I'd rather do it on the drill press. Now I'm going to change drill bit. I'm going to put the right size drill bit. I'll be right back. Gonna go. As you can see, I have these two pieces that are going to turn into wedges. To do this, I'm going to use the disc sander. Well, you can use any kind of sander if you have a portable one. Will go and it will work. I suggest that you use a push stick and another piece of scrap to get zero clearance in the bottom. Use push stick in case of something happens, you don't get your finger or your hand right into the there. You see, that's one of the wedges. That's the other wedge. See, we have two wedges now. Well, it's time to put as you can see, I have this peg, or we'll call it, but this dowel that I sharpen it a little bit to help going in. If you had it flat with a little misalignment on the hole, you wouldn't be able to drive it, or it would be very difficult, or you might be breaking it. So I sharpen it a little bit and I cut it longer, and so I leave it sticking up a little bit on each side, and then I cut it with a flexible saw, a Japanese saw. Okay, we're now ready to put it back on. Alright, now we can drive the peg. You're supposed to, when you do it, make sure you put glue, otherwise, and well, I guess you can do it without glue, but it will help on the joint if we put glue. as you can see, it goes in plenty tight. It's all the way on the other side. So I just get a saw and I cut the ends after the glue dry, for example. And then you get your wedges. The wedges make it out of some hardwood. The one is not going right, but I guess, well, this is for demo only. Otherwise I take it back off and it starts all over. There we go. All right. After the glue dries, you can get a flexible saw and cut all these. Whatever you need to do. Alright? There's your joint. I guarantee you though, if I didn't put glue, you can't take that joint apart no matter what. And I hope you like it. Some people know that type of joint. And some people doesn't, but it's very easy and it's extremely strong. And if you put glue, the only way to take it out is cutting it off. It's just cutting it off, because there is no other way to do it. You can't get the wedges off. They're glued together. You can get the dowel off. They're glued together. I guess you can drill it all up, or you can cut it and drill it and whatnot. But if that joint, it will not come apart by itself. It won't rock. It won't do anything. No rocking, no moving. Once it's there, it's part of the bench or whatever you're building. Now this is, of course, it's designed for a bench. Next time I'm going to show you how to make this type of joint with a blind end. So you cannot hammer the wedges from the outside. You will have to put the wedges and drive the wood into it. But that's for another day. Thank you very much. There is the final view after a little bit of sanding. That's the outside. You can see the outside of the joint. Not a bad looking joint. And like I said, it's extremely tough. It can't take any kind of abuse for kids, the shop, anything. It takes a little more time to do it, but as you can see, it's not that difficult on the table saw. It's an extremely well done and tough joint. Thank you very much.
Laminating the top after planing it. You can see here all the lamination process that I did to get the top together. It had to be planed first on the joiner, and then after I glued 3 sections, because gluing it in one section is too much. Don't have enough time for the glue to be open without the clamps, so I had to hurry up. So I did it in 3 sections, and then I here hand planing the bottom, and then gluing the 3 sections. So first the first 2, and then the last one. And I had to make sure it's glued straight. That was a little challenge, but it was done. As you can see, I'm just finishing the top. I just finished gluing the 3 sections that I had, and all I'm doing now is make sure all the sections are matching. I ran through the thickness planer every single of the 3 sections, so now I make sure all the little ridges disappear. I don't want hang-ups or anything, and make sure everything is level.
there's no other way but to do with a hand planer, because none of these stuff will fit on the fitness planer anymore. Okay guys, almost done here. Just finish it up planing the top flat, and then we're back to finishing.
Now you're thinking, okay, when do I make my pledge? Do it now. You help reach the goal for the hour. During the flash match period, you double the value of your pledge, and you're automatically entered in an $800 prize drawing. Triple reason, triple whammy. 1-800-421-1717 KUSC.org. 9 minutes to go in the flash match period.
And we have $880 here to match. We want to make sure that we raise the entire amount thanks to the generosity of the Susan Trustee and Trust. Again, the dollar match you to make sure that you do what you know is the right thing to do and support the classical music you count with the every day, perhaps even every hour. 1-800-421-1717. Your online business also mentioned right now. We'd like you to come into the foreground and make that pledge support at 1-800-421-1717 or online at KUSC.org. I swear there is no better time. There are 3 compelling reasons all lined up to make that pledge rather than later.
I'm doing the final going around with the scraper, a cabinet scraper, because I don't like too much sanding. Too much sanding. Too much dust. And the scraper does a better job than the sandpaper on these cases. I don't have, it's everything is flat. All I take is a little things here and there. It's pretty flat. Beautiful. And I'm using a rough scraper. It just made out of stainless steel, and the edges last a little bit longer than the fine scraper. So I'm gonna go around with a rough scraper, and then I'm gonna get to the fine scraper. That's the only way to do it. I already planed this down once on when there were 3 sections, and 3 sections I glued 7 2x4s, and then I glue another section of 7 2x4s, although this is a double, and it equals to 7 sections, and then the last 7, and then I clamp 2 sections, and then I clamp the 3rd section together, and now I'm going, and then I had to hand plane it to get rid of the little ridges on the joints that I glued together, the last sections, and take a little cup that I had when I clamp it together. Now I'm just going with a rough scraper, and then I'm going to go with a fine scraper and finish it. So I'm gonna keep at it, and I'll bring you back when I'm finishing. Thank you.
Double the amount of your pledge and take advantage of this. Thank you.
Finish, and I think it turned out very nicely, if I might say so. I never told you the measurements of the top out here. The top is 7.5 foot long by 3 feet table. The reason I made it 3.5 instead of 4 because I will never reach the other side. If it was on in the middle of the shop with room all the way around it so I can walk, perhaps I would have made it 4 feet. But and this small shop, it wouldn't make sense to make it any wider. I would have had to crawl over the table to get to the other side. So with that, I would leave you. See if you can make your own. It's been a good learning experience for me, and I tried to get the best of what I can do, but what I have, and my experience level. I think it's going to be a good work surface. And on top of that, I had the bonus that I put some drawers, and I know the drawers, I didn't show you how to make it, but YouTube is full of examples how to make drawer cabinets and drawers and stuff like that. So that's why I didn't include it. Make it too long and too boring. The top and the carcass and the base is the most important part. Then the cabinets you can add yourself in the future. And I'm glad I did it. I don't have to work on a flimsy workbench, crude. There's no reason for work on a crude workbench if we call yourself woodworkers. So let's try to make the best that we can out of these. And we woodworkers going to work on a proper woodworker's bench. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.
Here you can see all the lamination. On the outside there is a piece of oak, but in the center you have a piece of redwood as an accent. And you can see pieces of 2x4, but some of the darker 2x4 is they are 2x4 that have been exposed to the sunlight for about a year, and I stagger them on purpose just for a contrast.
Well, I hope you like the session. We built a sturdy workbench designed for a woodworker. Sturdy and proper. Now, the question is, are you willing to build yourself a proper workbench just like this? You can design your own, and you can try some of my techniques, but get yourself a proper workbench. You know, there are many times that we just go for the latest gadgets. We have to go get the latest drills. We have to go get the latest clamps. We have to go get the latest saws. We need to, you know, the latest chisels and planes and machines. But we always neglect the workbench. I challenge you to build yourself a proper workbench. Thank you very much.